Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your planting garden questions. You can email them to tips@channel3000.com. And she brought a very interesting special guest.
Yes, this is a new cactus that we just came up from Florida, and this is called a candelabra cactus.
Sounds fancy.
And yeah, it's very fan-shaped and kind of like an Amish coxcomb, which is an annual flower. Comes in a couple different colors. They're just a more solid green one, and then one that's sort of mint green with this sort of whitish color, but they're very freaky looking and fun.
Yeah, it looks like some out of Avatar or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get right to these questions. We got a few. First off, Jeff asks if he should fertilize his tulips when they pop up.
Yeah, you can certainly do a broadcast of a bloom booster. Probably more useful to do that after they're done flowering. Buds have already set from last year. So when you cut the flowers back and then they're in that sort of awkward stage where you're waiting for the foliage to yellow before you cut it back, just throw some the bloom booster is it's a granular thing, so you can just sprinkle it on the ground and water it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then Sheila wants to know if she can cut her rose bushes down now. Also, she has an oriental honeysuckle vine bush growing up the side of her garage. Can she cut the vines down to a few inches above the ground?
So for both of them, I would really wait until you start to see buds start to open, leaves start to swell, and then you can cut them back to a size that more fits into your lifestyle for the roses, for sure. On the roses, make sure that you cut just above a bud that's facing out of the shrub, not into the structure of the shrub. That'll help with air circulation. With the honeysuckle, I don't know that I'd cut it back to a few inches, but certainly leave some good buds on there and then you'll get some new growth.
Okay. Eric asks, when is it okay to trim his flowering crab tree? Also, are there any evergreens or pine trees that are shade tolerant and deer resistant? He's considering Canadian hemlock.
Okay, so let's start first with the crabapple tree. You can go ahead and prune your crabapple trees now. It's a good time. Just be aware that if you're just doing trimming, you're cutting off the flowers for this year. It's not going to hurt the plant, but crabapples set their flower buds right after they're done blooming. So in May, it will be starting to develop flower buds for next spring. So just be aware of that. And as far as the hemlock, that's a good choice for the shade. Hemlocks and yews both do really well in shady locations. Unfortunately, deer like them both. Hemlocks less so than yews. So you're going to want to, while the trees are small, do some winter protection around them to keep the deer away.
You plant one of these candelabra things. I don't think the deer would like chomping on that very much. A little prickly.
Yeah, so it is a little sharp there.
And then last one, Stephanie wants to know, do vegetable seeds only last 1 year? She has some left last year and was wondering if she needs to buy any new ones.
It depends on how they were stored, Stephanie. The best way to store them is in a dry but cool place, like in, if you have like a plastic airtight box that you keep in the refrigerator and a cool spot in the basement. What happens is that the germination rate goes down from 1 year to another. So there's nothing that says you can't give them a try and see what happens. If they don't work, then you just have to get some plants instead.
All right, Lisa, thank you so much for stopping by.